Day, my loves. Good day, good day, good day. Get down. I hope you are well. Spiritually Savage here, just with a positive message. In these days of trying to get down. Thank you. In these days of, healing ourselves, there's no trying. I've been in my journal, and every time I think of the word trying, I replace with something else other than trying, something more motivating, like becoming more consistently, something of that nature. Just trying to, you know, not self doubt. Trying implies that you're trying and you're failed, but we all know that when we want something bad enough, there is no trying. We're going to do it, right? But there are always blockages, right? And so I was actually about to take me a little nap. I just sat outside in the sun, got me some good old vitamin D. Then I caught the creepy neighbor across the street just staring at me twice from his van. That's creepy. And the way his sunglasses are set up, they're reflective. When I first came out, I didn't see the reflection. And then I seen the reflection twice, which means, and then he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't moving. He was just staring. So I politely got up and took my meditation to my room, right? And so, past week have been, a little emotional, but I'm better for it, right? And so, as I'm laying here, I'm like nothing is going to stop me from achieving. And of course, I always give myself compassion because I'm harder on myself, and you probably are as well. This is definitely a lesson in my confession. So either you will see yourself in me or see yourself in my struggle, or just see the positivity that I have, and hopefully it can boost yours if you're feeling a certain kind of way today. Because I'm just coming off of a week of feeling a certain kind of way, right? But then again, that's judgment of myself because I'm like, oh, I should be doing this, oh, I should be doing that, right? But I am really not moving. Not until I'm sure, because being sure, we can't always be 1,000% sure, right? And I used to feel that way, like I need to know this, I need to know that, I need to go, I need, but that's not the energy that I'm in right now. Right now, I just want to be confident in my decision making abilities. When you come off of being gaslit and being in a narcissistic spider's web, your confidence goes for a loop. And this didn't happen to me until I was 30. Like, because it puts you in a mind frame of, dang, if the people closest to you can do that, then that means you can't trust nobody. And I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe that is the case, right? And so this week, as I've been going through it, I also have been getting to my emotions and my dreams and goals before they were tainted by this world. And I've already said my goals, like when I was like 15, 16, 17, I used to say that by the time I was 25, which at the time I thought was really old, so don't judge me. I don't know how old you are, but I am a woman of a certain age, so you know, if you're 20 something and you're having those goals, listen, or if you're like the age that I was and you're watching my video, listen, 25 is not old. It's going to be here before you know it, okay? But especially if you're not focused on your spiritual path, not what's going on out in the world, and not I was, when you're stuck in the matrix, you're worried about superficial things, and to a certain extent, like we all need things, we all like comfort, we all like ease. No one wants to work harder, okay? We like to work smart. However, if your main focus is obtaining those things, those are what God called worldly things. And they will get you lost in the matrix and have you losing your soul because of money and worldly things. Money is the root of all evil, not because money is bad, it's because what people will do to gain the money. And listen, we all been in those certain situations where it would be so easy to do something that goes against us, that goes against you as a woman, that goes against you as a man. And it will be a temporary fix because you will still feel the same way and you will still feel lost, right? And so as I'm laying here, dozing off and just feeling really good, I'm like, I'm talking to myself and I'm like, I'll never, you know, pursue my goals. I'll never pursue healing and feeling whole. I'll never stop believing that there is a God because I'm living proof that magic does exist, right? Like, seriously, I will never stop. So I don't care what kind of obstacle, and knowing what I know now, obstacles are just lessons for me to grow. So when I do finally obtain my goals, I won't squander them and I won't lose my soul in gaining them either. I just won't. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, never lose sight of your goals. Never become angry because it makes you old. Keep your childhood wonder and your thirst for knowledge. And just keep moving forward and keeping your heart. You have to keep your heart through this, through whatever you're going through, because that's what the enemy does not want. It doesn't want your heart. Your heart is pure light. Your heart is pure gold. Your heart is a pure connection to God, and some people don't have one. They just don't. They don't have a soul. They don't have a connection to God. Call them whatever you may, but you recognize them when you meet them. And when they stand in the way and they're contrary, meaning they are against your goals and what you believe about yourself, and they try to diminish you, and they try to belittle you, and they try to make you feel less than, take that as a sign that they are not your people, and don't try to change them. Okay? You can try, because everybody deserves a chance. But there are people that do not want to change. There really are. And I didn't accept that. Who am I, right? Keep telling y'all, I didn't accept that. I was like, everybody can change. Everybody. You just put in enough work. You just, give them enough love. And some people just have decided not to. That does not mean that when you choose yourself first and you choose to keep your energy to yourself, that does not mean that you love them any less. It doesn't. It just means that you value your emotional intelligence and stability enough not to insert yourself in people's lives and their dramas. Do not make other people's emergencies your issue. No, don't. And I used to feel that it was my duty, like it was my job, and it's not, because, well, I'll put it this way: it is not your job to force people to change. Now, you will have people on your journey that are on the same journey as you: self discovery, self love, self healing, self love. I said that twice. Just wholeness, wanting to reclaim your soul back, wanting to reclaim your heart back. That has been my goal, is to reclaim my heart back. That is why I talk to you guys, because I normally have people to talk to. But when you're on the journey, you realize that the people that are around you are not there to assist you in gaining your goals, especially if they are unsupportive and show no love or concern or even regret or remorse for anything that they've done. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm not going to stop because I know God knows me. I know God loves me. And I'm not going to stop. I'm getting to my goals. I am. And I'm not telling anybody. Not even another stranger. I think I told y'all when I told another stranger. I told one stranger. But it did get back through the grapevine, through the spiritual grapevine, and it came out in the wash, you know? And so now I know how that goes. So, never give up on your goals and never settle. Never settle. And I say that because there was an incident the other day. And of course, I'm flattered. Not like it's like, oh, okay, I'm this, so you make me feel different about myself. But okay, I'm flattered. But he was a little pushy, talking about a guy who came up to me. He was a little pushy, even though I gave him several hints, like, I'm sitting here and I'm, meditating and he still took it upon himself to interrupt instead of saying, like, okay, respecting that boundary that I put up. And I sat and I listened. Oh, you make me blush. Oh, you making my cheeks hurt. Because he was funny, but I was, I don't know. I was looking at his teeth the entire time and trying not to. That's a whole nother story. But I've gone through a guy like him before. And what I know this go around is that I'm not into building a man. I know nor have the time or energy to do so. I've done that. I've done that. I have believed in people's potential. And because I stopped giving my energy does not mean that I no longer believe that they have the potential. Now I believe that my journey with them has ended, and now they must go on to the next person or whomever God brings into their life for them to continue on whatever lessons they incarnated it down here to experience, and vice versa. That's it. That's it. So never stop believing. Whatever dreams you may have, and I don't know what dreams you may have, whatever dreams you thought of before your mind and your body and things start going on and trauma set into your life, whatever you was thinking as a kid, do you remember? I remember a lot. I remember being in the singing group and us having a member that wrote songs because I wanted to be a singer. I used to listen to Whitney all the time. I knew I wanted a family. I knew I wanted to travel the world. And I'm still going to do those things. I'm not done, and neither are you. So what were your dreams? What were your goals? What did you want to do with your life as a kid when you were carefree? And I know some of us had trauma set in early. Mine set in at 5, but it didn't take away from my childhood wonder. It took a piece of me away, but it didn't take away from my childhood wonder. My childhood wonder wasn't really tainted until I really found my spiritual journey, because even then I was in la la land and like, oh, roses are red, violets are blue, I love you, do you love me too? Like, that was me. That was me. But now I'm aware and I know better, so I do better. But I don't, it just makes me aware. There was a point in time when I was like, F the world, but I no longer feel that way because I know when I was asleep, even though there were people around me that were doing crazy things, I know that I was I wasn't perfect, and I was still asleep, even though I was conscious, and I was asleep, but it was like I was sleepwalking, like body snatchers, except for I was aware that my body was being snatched. I was aware of it. I didn't know that it was being snatched. I thought I was going through something like, okay, what's going on? Why is this happening? What about this? Da 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 da. I got like a million journals describing what I went through because it was just crazy. It was so crazy. And when I think back on it, I have to think back on it in pieces because to think back on it at one whole time is like very overwhelming. It is very overwhelming. But I only go back so I can learn the lesson. And they only come up when it's like brought into my awareness, like the video I'm gonna post, but the video I recorded yesterday, the trigger warning video, like that was the second time that thought had come up. So it was like, okay, let's deal with it. And I had already written about it when it first came up. I wrote about it, but I know that there's someone out there exactly like me or similar to me that's very intelligent, very knowledgeable, very loving, caring, compassionate, empathetic, who have been to something through something similar as my trigger warning video and may not have acknowledged it as it was. And I couldn't believe it when the month when I first had the thought. It was like, wow, it was like mind blowing because I pride myself on being intelligent and wise, but I didn't put that piece together. And I've watched, just like you guys, a million, after school programs and Hallmark and even blockbuster movies, with Jodie Foster, except for hers was like very violent, but you know what I mean. But I didn't recognize it for what it was. And I had my moment. But when it came up again yesterday, it was like, okay, I don't know. Maybe if this is your first time watching the video and you have had a traumatic experience with a loved one, someone you were in a relationship with, you may want to take a look at that video. And if you are inclined, you may want to look at some other ones because you may be experiencing spiritual warfare. You're being attacked. If you're on this channel, you are heavily being attacked. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it because that's what I experienced and that's what I'm coming out of. So, yeah, don't give up. I'm not giving up. I have my moments, no lie, but I'm not giving up. And I'm actually trying to change my thought process about time because time is definitely an illusion. And if we didn't have any clocks or calendars, we wouldn't be stuck on that mindset where I got to get it done by this time and I got to be this age and we wouldn't have none of that. And so I'm trying to erase that and go on God's timing, nature's timing. When it's the right timing, it's divine timing, and I will not have to fight for it. So I'm about to take me a nap. I'm getting hot, so I'm about to turn this fan on, y'all. The girl feeling cute today. Hey, my loves. Don't give up, okay? I'm not giving up. I've come too far to give up. I remember from whence I came. That tunnel was dark and that light was not as bright as it is now, so it's bright for me. It was really bright, and I'm going to keep heading towards it. My light that's inside of me. I was about to say shining. Yeah, it's shining. No matter where you're at in your journey, even if you're in the beginning and you have no clue what I'm talking about, just know we can't give up. Keep going. Keep going. Namaste, Ashe, Mazel Tov.